Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Pixel and welcome to the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel. Today I thought we could take a quick look at HADES, the isometric roguelite from Supergiant Games that has just landed on Steam following 1 year of exclusivity over on the Epic Games Store. Currently the game is still in early access with the 1.0 release expected to be out at some point in 2020. That said, even in early access the game feels extremely polished and pretty much playable from start to finish, even if the ending of the story is not quite complete. It's actually kinda difficult to explain what I mean without going into spoilers, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. The game does feel pretty complete and I very much doubt that you will be disappointed in getting to the end, so that's why I am happy to cover it as it is right now. Also, just so you know, all the footage in this video was recorded using our SAPPHIRE PULSE RX 5700 at 1440p, and as you would expect, performance was pretty much flawless. Now, rather than drag this out, I want to be clear that I, Pixel, am recommending this game. Normally, I would prefix any recommendations with certain conditions, such as if you're a fan of roguelikes, I can recommend this game, or if you're looking for a good challenge, I can recommend this game. However, this time around, this is simply a blanket recommendation. Not because I think it's the best game ever, or because I believe that everyone's going to fall in love with it, but simply because it's one of those games which it stands out as a near perfect example of a given genre. Kinda like The Witcher 3 did with open world RPGs, or Call of Duty 4 did with the modern military shooters. Here, HADES stands out as a near perfect example of top-down chamber-based roguelites. Supergiant Games has pretty much nailed every single aspect of this game, from presentation, setting and story to progression abilities and combat. It's all been masterfully designed and integrated. In HADES, you play as Prince Zagreus, the son of Lord Hades, as he attempts to escape the underworld and join the rest of the gods atop of Mount Olympus. To do this, you're going to have to fight your way through the ever-shifting chambers of Tartarus, Asphodel, Elysium and Styx, each region filled with varying enemy types and guardians put in place by your father to prevent anybody from escaping. Like with most roguelikes, you start off each run basically with nothing barring your selected weapon and whatever progression-based bonuses are applied. Your moveset comprises of an attack, a special attack, dash and cast, though it is worth noting a couple of weapons do have a charge attack, and after a while you will gain access to calls, which are basically super attacks tied to a meter that charges during a fight. Mechanically, the combat feels more akin to games like Devil May Cry and other spectacle fighters than it does to games like Diablo and the whole action RPG crowd. Controls are super responsive and dare I even say forgiving, especially the dash, which is a move that you're going to be using constantly. The one area where I do feel the game does fall a little bit short is in the enemy variety. Don't get me wrong, most of the expected variations do indeed make the cut, it's just unfortunate that the game locks so many of these enemy types to specific regions. While this does certainly help differentiate each area from the next, it does mean that combat variety, especially later on, does end up feeling rather limited. Something certainly not helped by the fact that the enemies generally get smaller and smaller throughout the game, while at the same time your attacks get bigger and flashier, which can make it incredibly difficult to see what's going on at times. By no means is this a deal breaker, I just would have liked to have seen a bit more of a diverse mix of enemies in a late game along with more tactical combat. I say this because as you progress through each run you're going to come across a wide range of upgrades. These generally apply to you passively or to one of your moves, meaning that eventually you're going to end up building a combo that you're going to use for the rest of the run simply because it is much more powerful than anything else you can do. This is a common problem with these types of games, and it's a shame that considering how well HADES does everything else that this has not been addressed. The upgrades for the most part are boons that are granted from the various gods. By default, you will have 3 to choose from, however this is 3 from a much larger pot and there is also varying rarity from common all the way up to heroic. Boons are the things that are really going to dictate the way that you play any given run, and it can be really exciting to see what weird and wonderful build you're going to end up with as the run progresses. The thing that really impressed me the most about HADES was the way that the story and the progression are handled. By no means is this the first game to try and add persistent progression and story into a roguelike, but out of the ones that I've played, it does do it the best. On a surface level, your goal is simply to escape the underworld, however, between runs you get to speak to characters while you're at the House of Hades, and slowly a deeper narrative is exposed, which works here primarily due to the setting. That constant loop of death and rebirth is interwoven into the very fabric of this world, and as a result, it's not all that jarring to hear NPCs talking and laughing about your previous failed attempts.
Owie, looks like the bone hydra of Asphodel just stomped you that time, huh? I hear each of its heads has its own nasty tricks. That must be tough.
It was unpleasant, yes.
Even during runs, the story continues to be developed with various gods commenting on the current situation and revealing important information.
Get out of here.
You've had a brush with Megara the Fury, haven't you? Oh, I know a thing or two about that one. Though lately we Olympians no longer mingle with those living in the underworld. You're the only exception.
During these runs, you're also going to come across plenty of items such as keys, darkness and gems that act as a form of currency that can be spent in the House of Hades. Keys can be used to unlock new weapons and abilities, darkness lets you enhance your abilities, and gems can be spent on renovating the underworld, both cosmetically and in ways that affect the gameplay from that point on. There's even keepsakes that can be collected by gifting a bottle of nectar to certain characters. These are basically small modifiers that can make runs a little bit easier. Now, I have to be honest, Hades does, unfortunately or fortunately depending on your outlook, fall into that typical roguelike trap of allowing you to become ridiculously overpowered. With a little luck, it is entirely possible to get a combination of boons and upgrades that will pretty much destroy anything and everything that you're going to come across in a single run, especially early on since not all the content, such as harder variations of bosses, is unlocked. As a result, I was able to complete the game on only my 5th attempt, and for that reason, I have to recommend that you consider starting the game on hardcore mode, which makes things significantly more difficult, but also significantly more rewarding. Presentation wise, the developers have once again nailed it. Supergiant Games are the masters of this hybrid 2D/3D perspective that combines beautiful hand-drawn art with highly stylized character models. The only small downside when it comes to the visuals has got to be how chaotic things can get when you've got a certain combination of boons, as there are points where you will lose track of your enemy wind-up animations, projectiles, and even yourself due to how flashy the combat can be. At the end of the day, barring a few issues with visibility and late game enemy variety, Hades is a masterpiece and a game that I have zero issues in recommending to anybody that is willing to listen. Supergiant Games have once again done an amazing job, and I really hope that more people are going to give it a try. It's well priced for what it is, at around £15 here in the UK, so likely around $20 over in America. It's a good blast, and overall, it's simply awesome. It's just that good. With all that said, that is once again going to be me done for today. If you're new around here, please do consider slapping that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified of our future uploads. If you like this video, then please like the video, and if you disliked it, there's a button for that too, and all we ask is that you please let us know why you disliked it so we can try and improve it in future. Beyond that, if you've got any questions, suggestions or feedback, please leave them in the comment section down below and I will try and get back to you. So, from myself and everybody here at the Sapphire Tech YouTube channel, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we will catch you later. Bye bye.